Hip-hop represents the 80s, babies, but has transformed the minds of the millennials. It is more than dance, music, and fashion. Hip-hop is a worldwide thing. It's a culture. Is hip-hop all about rap music, cash, girls, breakdancing? Nah, it means more to people.
It means community to me. It's a culture where I can be myself without being judged.
Pop means a lot of different things to me personally, but it's ultimately for me a continuation of legacy and great music. We've invented every form of music that you hear on the planet, and this is just a continuation. Hip hop is just an extension of the drum. It all comes from the drum. So for me, that's partly what it means. It means history, it means knowledge, it means culture, and it means a continuation. It's a rhythm, it's a beat that is a continuation of an ancient rhythm and beat. And so that's part of what it means to me.
Hip-hop to me means, a past, a present, and a future. There's a million different ways I feel like you can do, one select beat or, rhythm on an instrumental or anything. And I feel like hip-hop allows everybody to, express themselves in whatever way they might approach a beat or, an instrumental. And it's developing every single day. I mean, we've had, lyrical, and then just like, there's fun rap, and then there's all sorts of different things. Like hip hop is the, biggest genre right now, and it incorporates a whole bunch of other genres and is able to mix them together. So I think that hip hop is the most versatile genre and the most fast expanding genre of all time. And hip hop means everything to me. I think about it every day. I do everything, and I relate it to hip hop. Everything I learn, I've learned from hip hop pretty much. So hip hop is everything.
Hip hop means a lot to different people.
Has been a culture that's been involved in my life since I was a kid. The crazy thing about hip hop is, as I think back about it, it's influenced everything that I have done, even as a kid who was saving to buy Word Up magazines, even as a kid that was sneaking to watch The Box when my parents didn't want me watching rap videos, even going to save up my money from lawnmowing lawns to go buy Cash Money CDs in the early or late 2000s. So definitely hip hop influenced me when I was younger, and then when I got older, it was the main driving force to my main profession, which was selling shoes and clothes in the hip hop culture. A lot of people just look at hip hop as the music, but if you ask me, I think the definition of hip hop now is just whatever's cool. Like sometimes things might have been classified as rock and roll, but now even versions of rock and roll are considered hip hop and are considered cool. So I could just relate whatever is hip hop, this is what is cool, what is in, what the people are doing from here in the United States all around the world. Just items that I love. I like a lot of dad shoes, bigger shoes. At the moment, everybody's wearing skinny jeans, but I can remember 10 years ago wearing way bigger jeans. At the moment, I'm doing skinny jeans, I'm doing jogging pants, which were in the 80s really considered to be like B-boy pants, but now they came all the way back. We just call them joggers, just so we can mainly show off our shoes, which is hip hop nowadays. Tennis shoes have made a real big resurgence in the hip hop. So right now in the culture, I'm wearing a lot of shoes, bright colors, skinny jeans, joggers, any vintage shirt. The key we was talking about this morning also too, is that you don't have to match nowadays when maybe like a couple decades ago, it was all about matching. Right now, hip hop, you wear what you want, you do what you want, and your flavor can just come from being the total opposite of what everybody expects you to do. I feel like hip hop is evolving through technology and the internet, and just the mainstream capitalism that's involved with hip hop is making hip hop a prime time subject. So I definitely think it's growing at a fast rate. Love to tell them my definition of where hip hop began, probably somewhere in New York. As I got back into my history looking into the hip hop scene, New York was the big scene for b-boy dancing, a lot of beatboxing, a lot of DJs, which kind of controlled the cool back in the 80s, and they're kind of coming back now. But basically, the history of hip hop began in New York. I believe that once it started there, since it's a bigger city, it was easier to become mainstream, which was great for hip hop. And then once it became mainstream and then the internet was created, let's say 15 years after that, hip hop blew up to be worldwide. And sometimes with hip hop and the internet kind of merging and growing together, when different outlets like YouTube come around, it allows different hip hop artists to become YouTube stars, which now eliminated the radio, which will kind of have a bias against hip hop for so many years. So now with technology, and you look back at the history of hip hop, I believe we're like at the beginning of hip hop still. Like hip hop might be a 200-year phenomenon. I think we're still in the beginning, early stages, because with technology, it's making it endless for kids to be hip-hop rappers on YouTube and SoundCloud, making millions of dollars and don't have to worry about the traditional states that they have to go through in hip-hop to get the music out there.
The past, present, and future of hip-hop culture has progressed quickly.
I'm gonna work my way backwards from what's present now. I feel like you got the Pharrell Human Race. This right here is not hip-hop because it looks hip-hop. It's hip-hop because Pharrell, who is a rapper, designed a shoe with Adidas that right now is controlling the market. If I say controlling the market, that means that everybody is going after these shoes, and anything that Pharrell puts his name on is considered hip-hop and cool. So I think currently, you got rappers doing collabs with different companies like Jay-Z and Puma, Pharrell with Adidas, that are just taking it over, which are really, really hip-hop in the shoe community at the moment. The second one is a newer shoe, but is an ode to Kanye West, because Kanye West created this shoe with Adidas, but also created a bunch of shoes with Louis Vuitton and Nike over the last decade. So Kanye West, I feel like, is the innovator of crossing over hip-hop to tennis shoes. He was one of the first people to demand a shoe company to pay him the same way they play a basketball player, which is very big. That means that the hip-hop has the same control as somebody as you see on TV and going to win a championship and dunking a basketball, which is really different from when these came out, when they used to look at people who wore these in the 80s as just B-boys who just run around dancing in the New York streets. But these have came back out at least 5 to 7 times, and hip-hop has influenced these every release, because when they come out early, Nike just seeds them to rappers. Rappers wear them. Kids come in here with pictures on their phone like, hey Rico, are you gonna have these? I seen Fabulous had them on. Hey Rico, you had these? I seen Fat Joe had them on. So hip hop has definitely taken over. We're seeing that this shoe was released in '85 and these shoes released in 2018. Hip hop has been involved in sneakers and the streetwear culture for years, and I don't think it's going anywhere. Early 90s Sonics Pro Player leather jacket. These fly out of here. These we're seeing in a lot of NWA videos, a lot of Ice Cube videos, a lot of West Coast things with the West Coast team. Barry made this very popular in hip hop. The thing is, in 2018, almost 25 years later, they're still dope. They still sell, especially in this condition. Very hip hop. Also, another thing that came back is the starter jackets. As we know, these are seen in a lot of early 90s hip hop videos, a lot of early 90s movies like Boys in the Hood, all those good John Singleton flicks always had a good, nice starter jacket in it. Nowadays, people like Chris Brown, Big Sean, real big fans of this. Also, the thing that makes it kind of tight is that they have the big logos, different logos than they do nowadays. Everything is kind of like embossed on the jacket. Definitely very hip hop to wear. And then we got the standard color block Nike jacket we know that was made famous in the 80s. People went big over these. Loud colors, different blocks in different colors. You can wear anything with these nowadays. The crazy thing is in the 80s, they wore a lot of these in the hip hop videos with white Air Force Ones, which are famous in Milwaukee, known as Dookies. So that's hip hop to me, to have these clothes in store and know they were in rap videos. And the main reason that people think they're cool today is because of that, is why I think hip hop is taking over.
Hip-hop means to me is the freedom of expression. It's like a cultural movement, almost like I think it pretty much started off like as a social, political like movement. There's ways for artists to freely express themselves, whether it's between like politics or whatever, as opposed, I mean, not as opposed, but as far as through their artistic ways of doing that, whether it was DJing, MCing, breaking, graffiti art, stuff like that. And it's infused into like the music and the neighborhoods. It's like it gave people in the ghetto like, you know, a voice or a reason to speak up, to stand for something, for their voices to be heard about what was going on like in their communities. So like the way I express it, it's through dance. It's like with me being like a hip hop dancer, or a former hip hop dancer, I'll say, because I haven't done it like in a while, but it's just a good freedom of expression to kind of just, you know, let that energy out. Or if you're feeling some type of way, you take the lyrics from a song and like fully express yourself or whatever beliefs or that you believe in through that. Hip hop is like life, I would say. I would think it's the most popular form, like worldwide, because there's so many different aspects of people who kind of connect with the hip hop culture, like, and the movement in general. So to me, it's just really like a freedom of expression, a connectivity to other people. I was very into the baggy look, the whole tomboy look with the baggy jeans, maybe like the tight fitted shirts, or even like the salt and pepper era where it was just like the big hair, the big earrings, the big jackets, which still had on leggings and like tennis shoes. I'm still like a tennis shoe Timberland chick or whatever. I've never been like the prissy heels. I'm just kind of just like that, like just how I am now, just tennis shoes, jeans, a nice hoodie, or just something like that, like those type of styles, like the salt and pepper, the baggy clothes, like that look. That was me, like growing up. Repeats itself a lot, so I feel like a lot of the styles that we have now are kind of, repeating from, looks from back in the day. There are certain trends that are picking up with some of these new artists. I wouldn't necessarily call them like hip hop artists, but they're rappers. I'll say that because it's a difference. But that particular style, I don't really see like that picking up, like the extra, like tight jeans and you have some male artists that are wearing more female clothes these days. So I don't really see that trending. But as far as like going back to, Adidas and shell toes, like never went like anywhere. Like it's always going to be like a classic staple. Like if you think of hip hop or think about any type of hip hop attire, people just automatically just resort back to Adidas for some reason. You gotta rock the 3 stripes, you gotta rock the shell toes or whatever. Even like gold chains and stuff, like those are pretty much like making a comeback too. And those used to be like real big back in like the 80s hip hop and stuff like that. So I see a lot of that stuff coming back, which I like to see. I think it's still dope, so yeah. Some artists that are like relevant today that's helping it evolve, it's kind of, I think hip hop right now is kind of like, I think it's kind of like stagnant. It's kind of like you have some that are like pushing for it to evolve, and then you still have the other half that's just kind of like, they make like the little bubblegum rap and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, the what side of the coin, where is hip hop really going? So that's what I think a lot of people are wondering. So you still have Jay-Z, you still have Nas, you have Kendrick Lamar, you have J. Cole. Like they're trying to push it to make it, constantly evolve. But then you flip the coin and then you got I don't even know the new rapper's name. I'm like, who is that? But yeah, you have some of the others just like, what? Like, what am I listening to? But the hooks get so catchy and you like find yourself singing to it anyway. So I don't know. Right now it's just kind of complacent. But I think like with the more artists that come out, we get more, Kendrick Lamar's and more J. Cole's that'll come out, which I can see happening, or get more people like Chance the Rapper or something like that, then I can see it going somewhere. Because those people now, they're actually using their voices to get, political movements going, to get people to like wake up and understand like, what's going on like in the world. And I can kind of see like more people flocking more towards them than to the we call them hip hop, the hip hop rappers.
Hip hop is more than just shoes. It's just a dope culture overall.
Hip hop to me is being able to express yourself unconditionally, whether it's through breakdancing, whether it's through DJing, whether it's through rapping, whether it's through graffiti. Being able to consistently express yourself in the way that you want to, and not being conformed or consolidated to any form or idea, and being able to consistently do that. That's what hip hop is to me. Hip hop has saved a lot of people in our community. Hip hop has saved my life, if anything, I'm not gonna lie. But hip hop is love, life, existence, expression. Right now, what it is falling away from what it actually is. And with, like I said, being able to have that pure expression, everything's been so commercialized and everything's been so gentrified, like everything's so manipulate it. They want you to believe or understand that this is how they living, and that's not what hip hop is. Hip hop is the true, authentic expression of yourself. And like I said, being unfiltered, not having no prior thoughts or, you know, too much planning that goes into it. You know, it's kind of like jazz. That's where hip hop derived from, you know. Jazz, being able to freely express yourself, improvisation, you know, just going off the top, being able to consistently express yourself, regardless of the situation or scenario or circumstance. Hip hop, I involve myself in hip hop through fashion, through graffiti, through expression, whether it's singing or rapping, designing. Only because, like I said before, those things that go into building hip hop and being able to consistently express yourself is what I find myself the most attracted to. And I kind of find myself like not being able to stick to one thing. So hip hop to me is life. Hip hop to me is love, because that's the only thing that's been keeping me like thriving and going and moving ahead and looking forward to grow. So hip hop is the message. It's whatever message that you're trying to get. I mean, coming from jazz and coming from, you know, the 80s where people were able to express themselves, and then building into the 90s and the 2000s where everything was big and expressive, you know what I'm saying? Big t-shirts, big whips, everything. So now I feel like it's getting into a point where we're losing ourselves in the sense of like the truth and authenticity of it, you know what I'm saying? Because when we talked about struggle, we talked about both sides, you know what I'm saying? If you hustling, you got your money, but you talked about the poverty that you came from. You know, it wasn't just about what you have, it's about where you came from and how you was able to, you know, leave from the concrete and be a rose and be able to grow. So like, I feel like, I don't think we've found ourselves farther away from the original sense of hip hop, but I feel like people are focusing on too much on one aspect of hip hop and not the whole picture, you know? Like Tupac said, like, if you're not able to talk about the pleasure and the pain, then you're not talking about anything. You're just talking about a one-sided perspective. And I think that's what's happening. We're not losing hip hop. Hip hop not gonna be like jazz or white people take it over. It's too big, it's too expansive, so many different pieces to it. It's hard to maintain and control all of that. But I will say that we might lose it. And that only comes with, I feel like, truth and authenticity within our art and our craft and our expression, being able to consistently do that. I feel like everybody talking about being on the go, being in their bag, you know, like being like working, like having to like build or go, like have a goal, you know, being on the move for something. So like, as you can see, everything that I'm wearing right now, it's like, I think it's like moving attire. Like, I don't know how else to say it. When I was real young and I told my mom that I kind of wanted to get into fashion designing, I was an athlete, so she always inspired me. She was always telling me, if you wanted to do something, make a line where people could move around in your clothes, you know what I'm saying? Because you're a mover, this is what you do. You don't stay in one place, you don't just find yourself in one area. So have a line that you're able to express yourself in, but be able to move around in and be smooth in it. So right now, that's what we're doing. Whether you a dancer, whether you a rapper, whether you a graffiti artist, you can wear this, you will understand. I feel comfortable and it's representing me, and I'm able to move in it. I'm able to move around in it. And I think that's what people are gonna be able to gravitate to or connect to. My style, I ain't gonna lie, it kind of switched a little bit, because I was like, you know, I was very into like the Yeezy, you know what I'm saying, how Adidas was moving, and I still am to a certain extent, but like gravitating towards my own center of gravity, you know, figuring out what I want to do, and like looking at what's around me and being able to, you know, incorporate those different things that I like from these individual things and making it one thing. That's what I think will make Hood Hippie original, or my style original. I feel like since hip hop has been hip hop, you know, like when they brought Tupac in, and since hip hop has been hip hop, the creator of Gucci brought Tupac in, saying he's the most beautiful man alive, gave him free clothes, all this type of things, high fashion, high end. So I feel like to a certain degree, high end fashion, and like how we have Louis Vuitton, we see Givenchy, we see Versace involved in hip hop culture, it's understandable, but I feel like within our hip hop culture, we kind of shifting away from like being able to have our own things in hip hop, you know? You don't see any you don't see as many rocker wears as you used to, or like these different FUBUs. You know, we have Yeezy out here, but we don't have a lot of our own culture within hip hop. You know, we see a lot of, you know, the European influence within our culture, and they kind of using us and pimping us to be able to wear their clothes. So I don't feel like, I'm not trying to shun, you know, that community or that culture that was involved in hip hop and helped it grow. But I feel like the people who are creating right now have more influence, and I should be able to influence our culture more than, you know, Migos saying culture, you know. And I love Migos, there's nothing wrong with them. But I feel like we should have our own people. We should have our own visuals, our own faces, our own companies looking and representing ourselves, because once you have a rose that grows out of concrete, you take the petals and blossom it somewhere else. Now you got stronger roses other places. We don't have the same, you know, fortitude that we took from growing ourselves. So I feel like the culture or the fashion culture should be more independent to a certain degree. Don't find yourself in one position. Don't find yourself in one form. Don't focus on one style, because when you do that, that's where the commercialism comes in. That's where you find yourself doing the same thing or saying the same thing over and over again. And you're not really expressing yourself. You just regurgitating what you hear outside, you know, regurgitating the vibes that you feel around yourself. And not actually, like I said, expressing yourself and getting your message out there. And also, if you looking at me right now, starting out, like they always say like, oh, it's overnight, but nothing happens overnight. Nothing comes overnight. Everything and every person that you've seen, like on stage, on TV, wherever, on your phone, was working. They was working when people was sleeping. They was awake when people was dreaming. So work and really study your craft, understand what you're trying to do, because there's a million people out here that's trying to do it. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to compete, because competes with expression, but make sure that you are working on your craft the way you want to see yourself in the future. Make sure that you are building your own ideals and your understandings about what you're trying to do before you just let the world around you dictate what you think and what you believe and what you wear and what you eat.
Regardless of the hype and negative vibes personified in the media, hip-hop has transformed the lives of many. Drugs, sex, and money has become the norm, but because of hip-hop, young minds are being shaped for purpose. The future of hip-hop is not certain, but be certain that it is definitely alive and mainstream music for many.